welcome to my YouTube channel, Weddings on a Dime. I am so excited to have you guys here. If you could first please hit the subscribe button to see more of my videos on how to organize a wedding on a budget, and please give me a like for this video. Okay, today we are going to be talking about the wedding cake. That's one of my favorite things that I got to do in planning my own wedding. Sorry if I look down, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I hit everything. Picking a wedding cake is really important. You want it to taste good and look pretty, and that's hard to do on a budget. So I'm going to give you some tips of what I did, what I thought about doing, but it depends on what your family says too, because I really wanted to go as cheap as possible, but my mom wanted to make sure there was enough food for everyone. So she chipped in a little bit more because that's what she wanted. So it just depends on what your family kind of wants also, even though it's your day, so don't forget that. Do what you want to do. But I mean, I was fine with it. I didn't want my parents either to spend that much. So I eventually had her back down from doing too much food, but where there was still plenty for our guests. So first of all, just go out and try your local bakeries, see if any of them let you do a food tasting. If you really want your cake to taste good on your wedding day, I've been to some places where it's just way too sugary or not the consistency that I like, and it's just so fun to get the little package. I only went to one place. I kind of wish I had done more, but most of the places you have to either commit to having a cake or commit to spending like a certain amount of money in order to do the tasting. And we didn't want to do that because it's super expensive. So we found this really cute bakery in our town, locally owned, which was great. And they gave us a little mini cupcakes for each of the different flavors. They let me pick which flavors I wanted to try. I kind of wish I had chosen more, even though I knew I didn't want those flavors for my wedding cake, just to have fun with it. But I only chose 3. Strawberry, lemon, and just the regular white cake for the wedding cake. And it was so good. So one thing to do, just go around, do cake testings, go to local bakeries. We looked at even Walmart, we looked at other local bakeries, but even Walmart was super pricey with their cakes and more than what we wanted to spend. There was one point where we almost thought about just getting a small cake for just me and my husband to cut into and doing cupcakes for everyone else, which that wouldn't be a bad idea. Making a small cake for yourself and having something else to supplement for everyone else, because they don't have to have cake. One thing I would suggest doing, what we did, my mom wanted to have plenty of sweets, so me and her baked tons and tons of cookies weeks before the wedding and froze them, so that we'd have plenty for the wedding. And wedding week, it was super easy because they were already made, because we had made them weeks in advance. So that's one thing to do. Cookies are super cheap to make also, and you can make a lot of them. So, and they freeze really well too. They're still good even once you take them out and thaw them. They're amazing. So that's one thing to do. If you want to save some money, you could just make a cake for yourself and cookies, ice cream for your guests. So that's one tip I have to save money. Maybe just having a smaller cake. The one thing we did was the bakery we went to, it wasn't too expensive, and so we got I think it was a 3-tier, but it wasn't like tall. It was probably that big. But we got it plain, just white, no decorations, no nothing. And I had a creative friend who used our leftover real flowers that we use for our bouquets, and she placed them on the cake and decorated the cake for us. So that's one thing to do. If you have a creative friend who's good at decorating, you could have them come up with a way to decorate your cake. Very simple. You can even use greenery or fake greenery at Hobby Lobby on sale. That would be super easy way to decorate your wedding cake, or just even getting a topper. I mean, it's a wedding cake, it would look great being white. So not having the bakery decorate it because that costs extra, but you doing it yourself, that would be a good way. Also, to save money, you don't have to have a groom's cake. We almost did it, but of course, the place we're at, it just depends on where you're at. The place we went to, it wasn't very expensive, and my mom chipped in a little bit more, so we went ahead and got a small groom's cake and decorated it ourselves as well. So that's another thing you can do, is just look around and see what your bakery's prices are like. Because sometimes local family-owned places, they might even give you a deal. Okay, third tip I have is see if you have any friends that are really good bakers, but don't do it without doing a test try. Have them maybe make a test run for you and taste it. Make sure you like it. Make sure you like the way it looks, that they can do it right. Because that's one thing I learned with wedding planning. You need to make sure you like it first before saying yes. Don't just trust that it's going to look good, because there are so many things I did wrong because I didn't look at it first. I'll talk about that in another video with my photography. I knew the photographer, but I didn't have her take pictures of us before. She didn't have too much experience. Didn't turn out, I mean, I still got some great pictures, but didn't turn out exactly how I wanted. But that'll be another video for another day on with cakes. So just make sure. The third thing was to alright, so moving on. Back to the third thing. Find someone, a creative friend who's good at baking. You can have them bake your cake for you. If you know them really well, they might even do it for free. Or if you have a family member who can bake. I mean, it's super easy to make a really pretty cake. Maybe you're even a really great baker, even though I wouldn't suggest you baking it. You don't need to do that a few days before your wedding. You need to be focused on yourself and relaxing. If you're going to order your cake, make sure you order it way in advance and that you pick it up. I would say pick it up either the day before or the morning of your wedding, but don't you pick it up. Find trustworthy guys to go pick it up and make sure. That was one thing. We saved money because they didn't deliver the cake. We went and picked it up ourselves, or my uncle, grandpa, and my dad picked it up. So get strong men who can lift it and who will be very careful with it. So that's one thing I would suggest doing. Find people you trust who can get the cake yourself. Alright, let's see what's next on my list. Oh yes, one thing, a lot of people, a lot of weddings you go to, they say, oh, you have to have a groom's cake. You don't have to. I wasn't going to. That's another thing my mom talked me into because she was going to pay for it, but I would have been fine without it. Just having the one cake. We had snacks and stuff. That was one thing we did to save money. So if it's not that important to you, don't feel like you have to just because everyone else does. It's just what your preference is. But that's one thing you could skip out on, just having the one cake, because really no one's going to notice if you have or don't have a groom's cake. The main thing, everyone just focuses on the bride's cake. That's the pretty thing that you cut into. So just have fun with it, and that's another thing that's an easy thing that you can spend way too much money on is the cake. But it's cut into right away. People don't really even see it that long. So try not to spend much on it and follow those steps that I had. There's so many options of what you can do to spend less on a wedding cake. Make it yourself, find people who can, find a local bakery who could make you just a small one and have something else for everyone else at your wedding. Just depends if you're going to have a meal too. Like, people aren't going to want to eat too many sweets when you have a meal also. And that'll be another video that I'll make, is how to save money during your reception, what food to have, and anyway, that'll be coming next. So please hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos. Comment down below on if there's anything in particular you would like for me to talk about on how to prepare a wedding on a budget, and hit the like button for me. Thanks guys, and thanks for watching Weddings on a Dime. Bye!